it's probably better when I don't smoke, just because I like lose my train of thought and then like I ramble and shit. So
that's fair.
Rather not do that while I'm trying to host.
That's fair.
Yes.
I feel like weed kind of makes me like just kind of slow down and think about what I'm going to say more before I say it. Whereas I'll just kind of speak when I'm sober, like, and it'll sometimes take me a little longer to actually get to the point versus if I'm high, I can just slow down and be like, okay, this is what I'm trying to say.
I feel like I'm like the opposite. Like I think about what I'm going to say more if I'm not smoking. And if I'm smoking, then I just kind of like speak and it's random, sometimes rambles.
That makes sense.
And then finally I make it back to the point. And then I'm like, sorry, guys.
Now, try that up.
That fresh smoke, though, like if it's the first smoke of the day smoke.
That's the philosophical smoke.
The highest I'm going to be today, probably. Like when it's like that, then I'm still a little bit like, Jordana, what the fuck was I saying? I lost my back. What was I just saying? What was the last thing I said? It'll remind me.
Hold on, I gotta jog my memory. It just happened.
Hell yes.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We have another episode of OTI, Open to Interpretation. And today we have Calliope with us.
Hi.
Yeah. Birthday week. So I decided to come back on the show, make a little guest appearance, you know.
Tier is on vacations. He's in Vegas, and Laura is being a mom right now. So she might join us. She may not. Hopefully she can. But if not, we got Shane here to back us up. So we have a clip. We're going to just dive right in, and we'll get that playing so we can start talking about that.
If your life is looking a lot like this, bland, clear, boring, tasteless, then today I challenge you to find some way to add a little drop of colour. You see, if you do one little thing today that adds colour to your life, just for one moment, one small moment, and then you make the decision to do that every day, then gradually your life is going to get more and more and more colourful, until it's filled with all kinds of colours and tastes and textures and reasons to want to wake up in the morning and do your best. Because we're not talking about water, we're talking about your life, which is far more important. You, on the other end of the screen, are an amazing human being who beat 400 quadrillion odds to be here, and you deserve an amazing life.
So when you first sent this to me to kind of like review it and talk about it a little bit more, I thought it was like going to be like a joke. I thought it was going to be one of those things where like it ended in some type of joke or something, but then like it kept going and I was like, I really like this because it really is important and we need to talk about, you know, like our mental health as a collective, as individuals, and share the things that help us get through our day to day and like some of the tools that we have in our toolboxes and share those with others because, you know, they may have something that we might need and we may have something that they might need. And, you know, it's kind of good to discuss those types of things. And I think that I know you shared it for your job where you're working at. They have Mental Health Awareness Week. I don't know if it's a nationwide thing. I hadn't Googled it or anything by the time we talked about it, but I think that, you know, like it is something that needs to be talked about. So it's good to cover some of this stuff on a platform like this. So one of the first things was the analogy of like the water and it being already like, you know, all the way full, which is awesome because we want to have positive thoughts and stuff like that. But like, what can we add to that? And what are some of the things that we can do to add, you know, like colorful things into our life to make us, you know, have more fulfilling experiences and keep us in that state where, you know, our cup is more than half full. It's completely full and overflowing with abundance and love from, you know, our connections and things that we're engaging in. So, Clive, I'm going to ask you, what kind of things do you enjoy doing that make your life more colorful?
Well, I'll give like a general sense, and I think really this everybody could engage more in things that they like doing. Yeah. Simply just taking time away from their day-to-day activity, their obligations, I should say, and making some space, even if it is just 10 minutes. Just make a little bit of space to do something you love, even if it's like coloring. If that quiets your mind, it really does help your mental space a lot. And it is so small. People often overlook just the tiniest little things that you can do to add some color. But just get back to your hobbies. Like, a lot of people have so much going on, and it's hard for us to be involved in our hobbies on a daily basis or even a weekly basis, like just doing your hobbies once a week. Sometimes the obligations in life may make that difficult, but we got to find some space. Like, we can't just be on this realm working and eating and sleeping and reproducing. Like, that can't be just it. It's got to be more.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Shane? What helps you feel more inspired? What activities that, help you stay motivated to be positive in your day to day?
I think a lot of it for me is the network, for one. I definitely am inspired by being able to get different messages, give different voices out there for the public to hear, whether it's, political, whether it's social, like we do on this show, whether it's just dope music opinions like we do on Bar Exam. The fact that I get to produce all these different shows and fulfill kind of that creative outlet, it's definitely something that I get to look forward to when things are stressful elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if things are stressful elsewhere in life, it's like, all right, but I know I'm going to have fun Tuesday night because we're recording Bar Exam. You know what I'm saying? Or I know I'm going to have fun on Thursday night because we're recording OTI and Trip to Venus. You know what I mean? And I'm going to learn something that's cool. So it's like, I have things to look forward to. And I think that's really the key, is having something to look forward to. I think that's why, there is sort of a correlation, unfortunately, with retirement and, passing away early. I think that's sort of what that is. It's not really that you retired and that's why you know what I mean? It's the fact that you don't really have anything to look forward to because you don't have any goals anymore. You don't, stuff like that. So I think that's what it is. Staying busy and setting goals, setting attainable goals that are, realistic, and then growing with each goal. Like, set a small goal, get that, set it a little bit higher, attain that, and then just keep going. So it's like, as long as you always have something to look forward to, I think you can always be inspired. So that's what I try to look at. Whenever, things are a little bit rough, or, I'm feeling down, or, the future's looking a little bleak, or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, but I
can check out of that for a little bit and do something that, it's going to light me up for a little bit.
And then typically at the end of the show, whatever show it is, like, I'm inspired enough to where I'm like, okay, so now it's time for me to, chop up some chapters and upload this into the thing, so that way I can chop up some reels and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm in grow the channel mode, and then I'm optimistic about the future. You know what I mean? So it can completely change how I was viewing, everything just by interacting with my people. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that too. It's like things to look forward to, hobbies, activities, like planning stuff. Like, even if it's just like a once a month, man, Calliope, I miss our dinners. Like, that's why I'm looking forward to.
It's been a long time.
We get to go out and like do something fun and look forward to, celebrating.
I invited a few people too, so I think it's gonna be fun. It's a hobby too. I picked a hobby-based activity for my birthday versus eating, because I'm gonna do that anyway. But
we do that anyways.
I'm do that anyway. But I really took that day and I was like, okay, I'm going to really explore a hobby that I've been easing my way into, which is pottery. I went to paint some. I got to go pick up some pieces. Me and my daughter will go and just do the painting, but I'm actually going to get in there and do the wheel. So yeah, I'm excited.
I did it one time, and I was surprised at how like it came so easily. And I think that you're going to have the same experience because, I was just like, okay, it's not difficult. Like, when you do something for the first time, like before you do it, you're like, is it going to be hard? Is it going to come easy to me? Yeah. And like, you sit down and you're like, I've probably done this before. Like,
this is alchemy in a past life. And this is probably a job. This is what this is.
So it's just you connect it with yourself in different ways. And, speaking of mental health and like our friendships, I know what we can do for ourselves when we are having sometimes like a tough day, or we're like extra stressed. But if you see like your friends, or like you don't hear from your friends, like what are some of the ways that you can approach like your friendship situations where you don't, maybe you don't want to overstep, but you want to make sure like they know that you're there for them if they have something going on? Do you guys do anything special for your friends, or you take notice when it comes to stuff like that with your friendships and your partnerships?
I just reach out.
Yeah, I just say it. Hey,
I'm pretty
what's
blunt.
up?
What's up? Like, what's going on?
Hey,
If you
you
want to talk,
mad? You
that's
still mad?
I don't pry. I don't
I
pry.
mean, I do cry. If I love you enough, I'm going to cry.
I do.
I don't
We're gonna
pry.
talk about it.
I make it very known that I notice something's different. I notice something's up. I'm here if and when you're ready to talk. You know what I'm saying? About whatever it is, I'm not gonna judge you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, like I'm not gonna make you feel bad about it. You know what I'm saying? If you want my advice, I'll offer it. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much how I approach it. But I let it be known, like I see something's going on with you. So just know that I'm paying attention and I'm here if you need me. You know what I mean? But aside from that, I don't pry just because certain things, it just depends on what it is, if they're ready to talk about it or not. So I'm like, I'm not going to push you because then you push me away.
Yeah.
And I don't want
our friends too. Like some friends, like you can like, pry a little, or some you're just like, hey, like I know you're kind of, private
it also
about some
depends on the
things.
friend.
So
Yeah,
It definitely depends on the friend. That's true.
yeah.
yeah. There's one friend I have to approach it differently. I'd be like, well, when you're ready to talk about it,
Yeah.
you can tell me because you're being weird. You're hiding things from me. So I'll just
Like I know you're hiding shit, and that's weird. So
that's weird, but it's your business ultimately. So it's your business. So I am here with my tea and my blunt when you're ready.
I remember there's this one time I was talking to some guy that you had told me, you're like, I don't think you should talk to him. And I was like, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't. and then like 3 months later, you're like, so how's so and so? I was like, I just stopped talking to him again. I have mental health issues because I'm talking to somebody I know I shouldn't be talking to, and you already know. And I'm just like, I don't want to say nothing because it's like, and it's not that you do the "I told you so." You just give me the look like, well.
It's the R&B resting bitch face. I can't help it. I be trying like.
It starts for real. So yeah, I feel like it kind of depends on the situation too, because a lot of the times we can joke about it because we know like we've all been there.
We've all been there. We've all
been
that's the thing. That's why I like to try to give as much grace as possible.
Yeah.
Because for one, I know I got lucky in a lot of situations where it's like I was doing dumb shit and I just either didn't get caught, or the person that caught me kind of let me off the hook, or you know what I'm saying? Like maybe I got some warnings when I should have got a little bit more type shit. Like, so being an adult now, I can recognize that. So it's like, or being a, mid-30s adult, it's like I can recognize olds, you know what I'm saying? Or like 22-year-olds who might be doing something that it's like, that's goofy. You grown. Why are you doing? Oh yeah, you're 22. Like, I remember what it was like. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it gives you the opportunity to offer a little bit more grace too, and not approach everybody who's fucking up so negatively.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what about like in like day-to-day stresses? Like, why do you feel like we're all so stressed out? Like, I know that, there's some things that happen in our jobs or like at home with our families. Like, how can we like kind of navigate that better, or in a way where, like it's not affecting us like from job to home, or, like from, whatever it is that you do, like when you're obligated to do something, like whether it's like your religious beliefs and you have church and maybe you don't feel like going to church, or maybe you don't feel like visiting with people, but you have an obligation to be there for your community, or like, like you've I've done this where you plan something and you agree to go and it sounds good when you agree to go, but the day comes and you're like, I don't feel like going. But then like the person is like kind of depending on you, and then it's like, well, what's more important, my mental health and the way I feel right now, or pushing through and knowing that like I'm going to be a good friend to this person. Because like it's hard to choose, because I don't want to always choose myself. Like I feel like that's almost selfish to always be choosing myself and my mental health if I can't, like be there for somebody when I've already agreed or, made plans to do something like that.
I think being selfish is necessary and good. Sometimes the word just has a negative connotation to it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is perfect. Just talking to my homeboy about that today because his parents is in town and he was like, my dad ain't like made it seem like he's super excited to see me or nothing. Like my sister hit me up to ask if I was about to see them today. He didn't hit me up. And I was like, trying to just offer a few reasons why that might be the case. There's grandkids in the picture. You were at work all day. He knows you don't get off till 4, certain things like that. But I'm like, he's like, am I being selfish right now? I was like, bro, you haven't seen your parents in a few years. Like you're allowed to be selfish when it comes to your parents. I was like, I'm going to be selfish this week when I get to Detroit. Like I'm going to be very selfish with my dad that first day. Like me and him, it's just going to be me and him. You know what I'm saying? Unless like maybe later in the day he wants to kick it with some of his homies or something like that, because that's always a good time. So, you know what I'm saying? I'll do that. But that's going to be later after I done spent hours with just me and him.
Yeah.
But,
getting that quality time in.
And I don't feel bad about that. I'm like, no, I'm being selfish with my dad because I ain't saying this nigga in a minute. So that's what it is, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's good for my mental health. Like spending quality time with our parents, especially when you don't live close to them. And
you know what I mean? Because life happens. You just don't know. So it's like, I'm going to cherish every second I can spend with him. You know what I'm saying? Especially because everybody's getting older. So you just never know. You know what I mean? So it's like, anytime I get to see him, I'm going to be selfish with his time. And he's okay with that.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure he appreciates it too, because
as
a parent, I hope that my kids feel that way about me, when they get older and they're pushing, 30, 40 years old. Like I still want to go and spend the whole day with my mom. Like I haven't seen her. I want to spend time with her.
Yeah. But you know what I think is going to possibly shift a lot of things? Like, so I'm going to answer it in pieces, I guess. So like the first thing was why I'm so stressed. I think it really just comes down to money at the end of the day. Like money alleviates stress. It doesn't create happiness or cause happiness, but it does alleviate stress, which can allow you to pursue things that make you happy. You know what I'm saying? So it is a cause and effect type of deal. So it's like, I feel like because the economy's so bad and everybody's struggling and everybody's looking for a reason to why they're struggling, which is also why I think you see so much division. Men versus women, Jews versus Muslims, trans versus cis, black versus white again. You know what I'm saying? Like all these different fights that you're just constantly seeing. I feel like a lot of that is because people are hurting, people are desperate, Flint's water's still messed up 10 years later. It's all this type of shit going on. Meanwhile, we're paying for all this money overseas and stuff like that. And people see this. They're like, why am I fucked up, but we're paying for their government overseas type shit? You know what I'm saying? So
are we sending trillions of dollars overseas and we're homeless and fighting for our lives here?
So we're
dying from tooth infections and they got free healthcare?
Yeah.
My paycheck?
Yeah.
I don't make enough money to do things I want to do for real.
I can't even take an ambulance to the hospital without worrying about a $2,000 bill coming later. Like, you know, that type shit. So it's like, you know, with all the hurt and the pain and the struggle that so many people are going through, I think that's why kind of everybody is so stressed out all the time. And again, when you don't feel like it's your fault, you're going to look for somebody to blame. So I feel like that's where a lot of the division and stuff comes from also. And then, so one of two things is going to happen. Either the country's going to collapse because it's just going to eat itself. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to start to see, and this is actually my boy Corey's idea. He's like, I really feel like you're going to start to see that old school families just staying together for a long time type of dynamic where you have, you know, a husband and wife, and then one of their
parents,
like one of their sets of parents, though. It'll be like their mom and dad live in the house and their kids, and it'll be like 3 generations living in one house type shit. And you're just gonna see way more of that, and people are going to be, you know, combining money on bills and all that type of stuff, and just trying to save, and you know what I'm saying, and just in a way going to force everybody to become way more community oriented, because we're going
we
to
need
have
each other. Yeah, like we need each other.
yeah, it's going to literally be like we absolutely need each other, because there's just, you know, a group of rich people and then there's everybody else. So, you know, it's going to force people to get back to that, I think. So those are the two things. And then eventually, if everybody's kind of living the same, you know what I mean? Things aren't as bad necessarily. I feel like if everyone's poor and nobody's rich, that's better than if you have rich and poor, because then it's like,
we're all on the same level. It's the same playing field.
Same level. So
We don't even know what rich is.
no,
Right.
just
We're
enjoy each other.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I've
We're
really
existing.
is going to go back to that.
I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing either. Like, I feel like a more community-based society would alleviate stress, because then we have people to help with the children and the raising of the children, and like the, you know, building things, gardening, like things like that we can do as a community that will enrich our experiences on a more earthly level, like a non-consumerism, non-materialistic. Like, I think that we need that contrast to see like how we can live and be happy with, you know, what we have, and expand upon that, and not look at what other people have, or, you know, what they're doing, and just kind of like appreciate what we can build together and work together in our communities, because everyone's got some type of skill or something they like to do. We just don't know each other. Like, we've gone so long like not knowing our neighbors or talking to our neighbors, and we just, you know, see them while we're driving out of our driveways, or, you know, like leaving the house or something like that. We don't really know people like how we used to know people. And there's a plethora of, you know, human beings that, you know, are looking for the same type of life, or wanting something, you know, that they can connect with. You know, that's why people join religions. They're looking for something. They're missing something.
Community.
Yeah, and it really, it's community.
Any group, I think. Mm-hmm. Gangs, fraternities, sororities.
I love that they're not getting some kind of love that they need.
Mm-hmm. It's like people caring about you, and, you know, wanting to know how you're doing, like little things like that. Like, even like when it's on a stranger, like, and I think it means more sometimes coming from a stranger, because it's like, oh, like I can just be walking in the grocery store and someone's going to be friendly to me and smile at me and say, hey, hope you're having a great day. Like, that just raises the vibration of the collective to want to be kinder to each other, and, you know, like, just have that level of concern, like, hey, how you doing today? Like, you look like you're a little stressed. Is there something you want to talk about? Like, just like little stuff like that. Like, and take the time. Like, people just don't take time to like really talk to each other. Like, everyone's in a hurry. Like, I have something I want to say, and then, you know, like, you get rushed out of the conversation because, oh, I gotta go. And it's like, all right, well, you know, and that's fine, because it's like, if it's a stranger or something, you know, people got their lives and everything, but just like to be more conscientious of other people, and know, like, we're not just out here by ourselves. Like, we can have conversations with people. Like, I think that people are so embarrassed to have an actual conversation, like, that's not on their phone or on the internet. And like, you know, just sometimes I'm a weirdo, and sometimes I'll just talk to people in the line at store and like just be friendly. And sometimes people are like cool, and sometimes they look at me like a weirdo. Like, why is she being so friendly and like talking to me? I don't know her. And then I'm just like, you know, you just consider the source, and like, you continue to do it anyways, because there's going to be somebody out there that needs it, or that appreciates it, and that needs that, like, just that spark of conversation to, you know, reconnect themselves to, you know, something outside of themselves that they can be happy about, or cheerful, or look forward to, and like carry that with them and pass that along, and hopefully strike a conversation with somebody and they get that same experience. It's just like paying it forward, and like, just, you know, making sure that people know that they're not out here alone. Because like, that's where people like really start to feel like depressed, like they're alone, or they don't have anybody, or nobody cares about them. Like, you know, everybody's cared about in some way, even strangers, like on a collective level. Like, there is care out there.
That's one thing I can really say about my friends. Like, I know that for sure. Like, my friends care about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that. So that's one thing I'm very lucky, I can say. You know what I'm saying? I'm really lucky in that sense that I know that the people that I'm closest to and that I really consider my friends, they love me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, you can feel it. And like when you do, like you when you want to be a good friend, like you notice like other people that are good friends too, or like that they're trying and they're making an effort to like reach out and things like that. So it's nice to be able to see that in your groups of friends and notice that, and like, take note and do that with your other groups of friends too, because there's a lot of people out there that have literally like nobody. Like especially I just in Uber, and like the amount of people that like just want to talk because they're like talking to somebody that they don't know, they can vent or say something, and like they're like taxi cab confessions. I'm like, this is the strangest thing, but the most awesome phenomenon at the same time. Like, I don't know you from anybody. I'm gonna vent really quick. Either listen, give advice, or don't. I don't care. Like, I just need to get this off. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
I gotta say this.
Yeah. So in any capacity, if you can be that for somebody, just to like help them release something like that, so they can, be better with managing their mental health. It's everywhere. Everybody's a little stressed about something.
what do y'all think it is? Do y'all agree with me, or do you think there's
Money.
more to it? Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it's money.
Because
It's money at the end's money, and it's food, and it's just
it's our
everything.
it's
Everything.
our
It's everything that we need.
need to survive. It's like our survival items. Like if they were just already
It's
provided
all
to us.
weaponized.
Yeah, exactly. If it was all provided to us already, like we didn't have to pay for like shelter. We didn't have to pay for food. Like we could, again, work in a garden, or do something like that, or like pay it in some other way, or barter, and like use different methods to survive and to exist here without having it always be about money. Like it would be maybe different stresses, but not the same type of stress as money is, for sure.
Yeah. I just think that the place we're living into, it does not take care of us. Like, we are actually witnessing warfare against us. Like, everything is produced to make us worse off. The food, the content, the air quality, the water, the clothes, like everything. Every single thing has been weaponized to make us weaker. And it's like, oh yeah, we need to draft people. People don't want to fight for what? We don't own shit. Y'all don't treat us good. What are we fighting to defend? I'm defending what? Some like 8 rich people?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
8 families to keep them rich and in power.
No, I think
war games.
Yeah. Things are broken, and it does seem like the only solutions is like going back to that community-based living. Where else do we go? Because I think about that a lot too.
Yeah, it's the dependency we have on our government and the things that that are to harm us. Like you said, like everything that we have is like harmful to us in some way, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual. Like we're so disconnected from like what we should be doing as like a human race, and being again community based and there for each other, and like understanding of our struggles and helping one another. Like, well, now we're all pitted against each other. They have more money, or they have this, or their house is nicer. How can they get a nice house? How come I can't get a new car? Like shit like that. And it's like everyone's got their own struggles. It's like, if we had more support within each other in our communities, like, hey, I got an extra car. Like you need to get somewhere. Like I got an extra car and sitting in my driveway, not doing anything, like.
But everybody operates under the same mentality of I gotta hoard my resources because what if I need it one day?
Yeah,
one day. Like the rich people do. I gotta hoard it because I may need it one day. You got enough. Like how much you're not gonna need it all. But and it all trickles down to even people with a little bit of nothing. You may not have anything, but that little bit of something you got, hell no, I'm stingy with it.
Yeah, because you only got a little bit, and you've only always had a little bit. So you don't know what it's like to have a lot of it. So you're like, let me hold on to this little bit that I got. And then it's also like, then it's like, well, I worked hard for this. How come I have to share with other people that didn't work as hard?
You didn't work hard for it. Like,
yeah.
What if they couldn't?
Yeah, once you get past a certain number,
you
didn't work for it. Once you get past a certain number, you definitely didn't work for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like a certain, I don't know what the number is, but I know it's not 1 billion. I know it's not, probably not even 500 million. It's probably way less than that you can like earn. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe 10, 15, maybe. Like, okay, I could see maybe you just pulled off some really good business moves and you didn't fuck anybody over or anything, and you just developed really good shit, and that's possible. But beyond that, you're doing something dirty, and you're you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just
something underhanded.
What it is, but like it's impossible to earn $1 billion, in my opinion. It just is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no amount of work you can do that is worth $1 billion.
Yeah, not through hard work or labor. No. Like, that'd been hundreds of years worth of labor.
Yeah,
and, like, your family has done for hundreds of years.
Like $1 billion, like so much money. It's like that's
inheritance. That's a generational inheritance.
Yeah, that's the only way that happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's, I can't think of any self-made billionaires.
No.
Like, maybe Jay-Z, like, with him and Beyonce's net worth combined. That's like the only one I can think of. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and would they be considered self-made?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, beyond a certain point, you have to jerk people and you have to do shady shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, on how you view the story, there were 3 people who owned Rockefeller Records when it started. Him, Dame Dash, and Biggs. Maul's big brother from Rory and Maul. Those 3 started Rockefeller together. And all I know is at some point around the time that Jay-Z started like skyrocketing financially and he became the president of Def Jam, all of a sudden he was the sole owner of Rockefeller. Dame has been salty ever since, you know. So like, okay, something happened there, you know what I mean? Why'd you have to cut your mans out of the deal? Like, that's what it looks like. I don't know if that's what happened. I wasn't in the room, but it just, Dame is upset and Jay's up, and
he's just up.
That's that.
And it just never stopped. It was just constant upness from there, and then it was brand deals, and you know, liquor brands, and you know what I'm saying, clothing, all this stuff was coming. Like, you know, he was with you in the Rockaware days, but now that you in suits all the time, wearing tuxedos everywhere, you don't see Dame anywhere. Like, so it's like, you know, that's what I mean. Like, you have to do snaky, borderline, probably immoral shit to get past a certain amount financially, at least in this country. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily know how it works other places, but I imagine it's probably the same, like, because human beings are humans. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, human. So it's like, you know, greed is kind of a natural thing. That's where that hoarding of the resources come from, and that's why people rob people when they know they got it. You know what I'm saying? That's why people feel like, so it's a whole thing. Like, because people feel like they have to hoard it because they know that if people know they got it, then they'll take it from them. So now they got.
So how do we change that? Like, what do we suggest for a society as a whole to heal from those? Because that's trauma responses from not having
on both sides.
Yeah. So like, what would be the suggestion for our communities and humanity as a whole to heal like our society and the way that we are doing things? Because there's shifts coming. Like, there's nothing new is under the sun. So we're going in cycles. We're about to go into a cycle where like our government's probably going to be fucked up and it's going to fall. And we're going to be out here like, well, okay, like we depended on the government for so long to tell us how to run our society. How are we going to run our societies now so that we're not all repeating the same bullshit because of our trauma?
I mean, I think you'll maybe see a lot more just smaller communities rather than like cities and states and things like that. Like, it'll be more
neighborhoods. Like, hey, I live in this neighborhood over here. Like,
everything will be
having a
neighborhood.
cookout. We got a wild boar cooking. Like, we
No,
found
I really feel it'll be like some shit like that. And then I just think we have to teach.
Oh my God, the timelines are here. I've been telling people about this for so long, and it's here.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
this
what?
is
It's happening.
I think we got to focus on what we teach. The generations that come behind us. So it's like
our education system.
So I don't even know how much you can help that because that's tied to the government. So they kind of, dictate the curriculum. Like you heard about this, but in Oklahoma, I'm pretty sure it's Oklahoma. I think the governor, or no, it's somebody. I don't want to say which position because I don't know right now, but it's in Oklahoma, and he basically made it in the law that they have to teach the Bible and the Ten Commandments in public school.
So what happened to the separation between church and state?
Exactly. People are speaking about that. I'm going to do a video on it, but it's like so.
On politics as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I'll be tuning into that one because I want to see like how they gonna.
So it's like, I think you're just gonna see a lot more. We have to focus on what we have to like teach at home. So like making sure that your kids know how to cook, making sure that they know how to, prepare natural, you know what I'm saying? Different things like stuff that you may not be able to like rely on technology for. Teach them how to use an actual lock and safe. You know what I'm saying? Like teach them how to use, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. Like we're going to have to probably get back to more trade-based teachings and things like that. So that way you'll always have something to offer when we get back to that probably more community-based living and something.
Start building our societies again based on what we've changed and how we want our future to look like.
And if things are more barter-based and it's like, I know how to do plumbing, you know what I'm saying? Then just hit me up every time you need some plumbing done. And if I know you got the good food, just, cook enough for
my family for the next week or whatever it is. Like, give me meat for the next week.
Yeah. And it's just going to get back to probably more of a barter trade type based system in smaller communities. And, now the only thing I worry about that is people are tribal also. So I don't know if it's going to become tribal where it's like every neighborhood is like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what that looks like necessarily. I'm looking at it
hopefully not like Lord of the Flies, like, we don't want to like that.
Going to be like Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. I sent a picture in our messenger. If you want to pull that up to show people, because people really need to read the book. Like the time is here now, it's happening. We need to, thank you, because I have the audio, but it's time. Like there's a series.
This is what it looks like.
Y'all need to read it. Like I've been telling people to read it for maybe about 3 years now.
Yeah.
And it was written in 1993. The sequel gets crazier. It's it's foretelling. It's literally foretelling. It's not even like,
and it's in 2025.
2025, like we're here. Yeah. We're here. We are here now. That woman was a prophetess. Like she knew what was going on. She knew. And she knew so much is gonna really blow your mind. But if you do nothing else, please do that for yourself. Read a book.
Yeah.
And make that be the book.
Make sure you can make sure that they know how to write correct, like full words. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not text lingo.
Yes.
Make sure how to write. Make sure that your kids know the basics. Like the same dude who was telling me about this community-based thing says he teases his kids like that. He's like, son, give me the password to your phone. No. Okay. Well, I'll just take the phone and put it in a safe with a physical. You don't know how to use it. You know what I'm saying? So until you tell me the password, your phone is just
it's like now knowledge is weaponized because if you don't know, then you're in the dark.
In fact, I'll give you the code to it. Bet you can't figure out how to open it because you've never used one before. You know what I'm saying? Like
the combination locks.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's funny, but like still make sure they know how to do that.
all those like videos that like millennials give, like the Gen Z kids, and they don't even know like what a rotary phone is. They don't know what like a Walkman looks like. They're like, well, what is that? And it's just like
on
this
Monday Night Raw the other day, like somebody delivered somebody a VHS tape and they had to explain in commentary what that was. They were like, this is what's called a VHS tape. This is, you have to put it in a machine called a VCR.
This is a VCR.
Went around here. And I was like, wow, the fact that they have to explain what that is crazy. Like,
because it wasn't that long ago. It hasn't been that long. It hasn't been that long,
I still have a VCR.
You still have a VCR?
I do, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
The VCR combo. I missed the combo, man.
Yeah, the two. I had one. I had it. It was Blu-ray too. Lit. I'm so mad that I got rid of that one, but I got another one, and this was just VCR. But I still have some VHS tapes. I keep them because I don't know, they're nostalgic. Like
like
I feel like Blu-ray. I feel like Blu-ray kind of came at the wrong time because it was like DVDs was holding it down for forever. You know what I'm saying? And then
people have massive collections.
Blu-ray had a small window because then it was like streaming, nigga.
Streaming immediately. And then people gave up all of their rights to their DVDs to now have to pay a subscription monthly to watch all of the stuff they already owned. Ridiculous.
At one point, I had a hard drive, and it had like the hard drive.
And people are tired of that too. We're tired of the grand schemes. Like we're getting got so many and so much in so many ways, and people are like,
"Wait a second, it's got a bow on it. Doesn't mean this is a gift. Like
this is some shiny shit."
You know how people are like, it's easier to just get like whatever apps you want instead of cable. And I'm like, yeah, but if you watch more than like 4 or 5 things, it's cheaper to just get a cable bill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you're playing for Netflix and Peacock and, Amazon Prime, and like that's already like $30 right there. Like,
and they want to go up on their prices when they feel like it.
And then add ads. What do you mean? They added commercials. Like, I don't.
And they take away features, so you can't like download your show. So if you're going on a flight, you would be able to download stuff and then watch it on the airplane. You can't do that anymore. Like,
nah. Upgrade your plan, bro.
Yeah, $5 a month.
Like, nigga, no.
$60 a year from like 1 billion people. That's so much money.
So I'm saying, like, and
money.
Yeah.
I know the simple way of life sounds great. It's just gonna take a lot, and
we're gonna have to go through some shit to get there.
We're gonna have to get hit by like a meteor.
Nice.
Like we're gonna get hit by an asteroid one day, and that's gonna be it.
Like reset.
Yeah, y'all were taking too long. So here you go.
No,
here's your
be a reset.
Here's your off the grid that you wanted.
Right.
You off that motherfucker, ain't you?
Yeah, all the way.
Anyways, it's about that time. I'm gonna wrap it up for today and for this episode. But we hope that you'll be back next time, and we look forward to seeing you. Have a great week, rest of your week, everybody. See you later.
Bye.
Peace.
Sorry, that was like abrupt, but